Hi everybody and welcome to my channel. This is Heather. Today we're going to be making the humble yet very lovable chocolate chip cookie. So let's get baking. So these chocolate chip cookies are a crowd favorite. My kids love them, and every time I take them somewhere, people are always asking me for the recipe. So this is my particular recipe that I've crafted over the years. I'm sure there's tons of variations that you can do, but this one happens to be my favorite. Okay, so the way I like to do my flour is to measure it with a kitchen scale. It's just so much more accurate. So what we're gonna do here is put the bowl on top of the scale, turn it on so it goes to 0, and we're looking at grams here. So now we're set for 0 grams. And I'm gonna add 370 grams of flour, which is about just under 3 cups. So we're gonna go ahead and add this in. While I have you here, I also want you to know that the butter and the eggs should both be at room temperature. It's going to make your batter just so much better. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and add in my butter. It's room temperature. I did zap this in the microwave for about 20 seconds because it did come out of the fridge, but we want it to be very soft. Not melty, but soft. So we're going to throw this in here and cream it together. And several times throughout this process, you're gonna have to scrape down the sides of the bowl and make sure that you get everything off. Otherwise, you're gonna have a bunch of butter stuck at the bottom of the bowl here, and the very last couple cookies are gonna just be butter cookies. They're gonna be kind of gross. So make sure that you're scraping the bowl as we go. Here we go. Okay, so the butter is nice and creamy now, so we're gonna go ahead and add in our sugars. And this is a half a cup of white granulated sugar. Lift this up, and I'm gonna throw in, this is 1 full cup of light brown sugar, and I've made sure that it's very compact. And I'm gonna go ahead and throw that in. Go in there. Okay, and we want to mix this until it's fluffy, so I'll show you what that looks like in just a few seconds. Okay, so this is about the halfway point. I want to show you, see all this butter that's just stuck here? This is what I'm talking about when I say you need to scrape down the sides often, because you don't want that butter to be stuck there. So first off, I'm going to come in here, I have a huge chunk of butter at the very bottom. I'm going to get that off, because that's the one that's going to make your cookies gross at the end if we don't get it all scraped down. And then I'm going to just scrape down the paddle with my spatula here and start it up again, and then it should be just about done for their next step. All right, so this is where we want to be. Our batter looks fluffy or creamed together. That's where we want it to be. So we're going to go ahead and add in our vanilla. I have McCormick brand vanilla. You can use any brand you like. I'm sure there's a difference, but this is the one I've always preferred. So I'm going to throw this in. Love the smell of vanilla. It's so yummy. So this is just 1 teaspoon. Whoops, I spilt a little on the side, so let me throw a little bit more in here. That's good. If you don't spill in the kitchen, you're not really cooking, are you? All right, let's get this all mixed up. All right, so now that we got this all mixed in, we're gonna add our eggs. Now it's 2 eggs at room temperature, and we're gonna add these one at a time, and between each one, we're gonna make sure it's mixed in real well. Okay, so it's almost time to add in the flour, but first we need to add 1 teaspoon of salt. And 1 teaspoon of baking soda. I'm just gonna give that a quick stir, make sure it's all mixed in there. We're not getting clumps of something in one spot. All right. All right, so now that we got our batter ready, we're gonna add in our flour. And I dumped this all in at one time. You don't want too much air to be in the the batter. So if you do this a little bit at a time, you're gonna get too much, it's gonna get too like overworked. So we just add this in all at once. We don't wanna mix it too much. So let's just go ahead and dump this in. There we go. And my quick little tip, because when you turn your mixer on, all this flour is just gonna go flying out of here. So I just use a little kitchen towel and I place it over my mixer like that, and then you don't have to have flour just fly all over your counter or all over you. It helps with messes. So let's go ahead and do this. All right, so I'm gonna turn this on, make sure flour doesn't go everywhere, just on a low setting. Here we go. All right, so our flour is only mixed literally 10 seconds in here. You don't want to over mix it. And once I get the chocolate chips in, I'm gonna actually before that, I'm gonna put this on lock, because if I don't, this batter is so dense, it's gonna make my KitchenAid bounce up and down, and this just holds it in place. So let's go ahead and add these yummy chocolate chips. This is 2 cups of milk chocolate. You can do semi-sweet, but I like a little bit more sweetness to my cookies, so these are milk chocolate. Or you can do a half and half version, half milk, half semi-sweet. So let's go ahead and add these in. Let it mix up a little bit. We don't want them all in one spot. There we go. And that should do it. Okay, so we got our dough all made up here, and I like to use a medium-sized scoop. This just helps me get a nicer, rounder, perfect size chocolate chip cookie. Because if you do it with a spoon, which is also perfectly fine, but you might be getting like smaller ones, some bigger ones, and then they won't cook as even. This just helps with cooking and just making them look really nice. So, and then also we have 2 different types of things here you can use. So I have a cooking sheet here with parchment paper on. Almost everybody has parchment paper. That's why I use this one. And it's great. You can use it over and over again. And parchment paper is decently cheap. Then we have these, of course, the little silicone mats are more expensive, but they are reusable. You can wash them and reuse them. And these work just as well as the parchment paper. They, don't burn your cookies. They slide right off when you scoop them, and so these are great as well. Different alternative. Depends on your budget. Depends on how you like to make your cookies. So let's go ahead and use our scoop and let's get scooping. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and scoop out these cookies, and I'll just show you how easy this is. If you were going to use a spoon, your arm muscles will get sore. I used to use a spoon all the time, and this is a lifesaver. It saves so much time. It's so easy. Just click the little button and there it is. All right, so I got these all scooped. They're about 1 inch to 2 inches away from each other, so when they expand, they don't run into each other. And these are all like the nice perfect shape, so they'll cook evenly. So that's what we're looking for. And I can't wait to get these out of the oven, and I can tell you right now, my kids are gonna gobble these up, and there won't be any left over for me and my husband. All right, so these just got out of the oven. They smell delicious. I cooked them on the middle rack for 375 for 9 minutes. But you might want to check yours just in case your temperature of your oven cooks a little different than mine. And before I give these a quick little bite, if you like my simple desserts and you want to see more, please like and subscribe below. All right, so let's go ahead and try one of these out. So good. I'm gonna have to eat more of these before my kids get home. All right, everybody, have a great day.